Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming back to the Love and Betrayal channel. Today, I have a new and quite interesting story to share with you, the man I trusted with everything. They say when someone loves you, you feel safe, seen held. But what happens when the one who makes you feel safest is the one who's been lying all along? I met Adrian on a rainy Tuesday. I had just been ghosted again by someone who promised forever after 3 dates. I was tired of chasing, tired of hoping, and then he appeared, tall, soft smile, eyes like storms that had already passed. He didn't chase me, he saw me, and that somehow was more dangerous. He brought calm to my chaos, flowers on random mornings, dinners he actually cooked, playlists he made based on my moods. Adrian wasn't loud, he was present, and for someone like me, who had been let down more times than I could count, that was everything. In 6 months, he moved in. In 9, he proposed. I said yes, of course I did. Because for the first time in my life, someone made me believe love didn't have to hurt to be real. The wedding was small, intimate, perfect. My dress was off-white, his tux was dark navy, and his vows, they made my mother cry. I may not be perfect, he said, but loving you has made me want to be better every single day. I believed him with all my heart, until slowly, things didn't add up. The first red flag? A missed call from a number saved under a single letter, M. I asked. He shrugged. Work, just someone from an old team. It was small, innocent maybe, but something inside me shifted. Then came the locked drawer, the one he said had legal stuff. He never locked anything until that. He started coming home later, said he had meetings, but the scent on his collar wasn't cologne. It was too floral, too not me. I tried to fight the thoughts, tried to be the cool wife, tried to trust him. Until one night, he left his phone on the kitchen counter. Buzz again from M. I wasn't proud of it, but I looked. And what I found shattered everything. A message thread, deleted texts, only a few left. But the most recent one? She has no idea. You're a monster. I froze. Monster at me? No, him. I didn't confront him, not yet. Because now I needed to know what lie was I living inside. That night, he came home with flowers, kissed my forehead, told me I looked beautiful in that old sweater. And all I could think was, how many times has this man lied while looking me in the eyes? I wasn't ready to leave, not until I uncovered the truth, all of it, no matter how ugly. Because I knew this wasn't just infidelity, this wasn't just betrayal. This was something deeper, darker, and dangerously hidden. The secrets he thought I'd never find. I thought I knew my husband, but that night, staring at that single sentence, she has no idea you're a monster. I realized I had married a man whose truth had never been mine. I couldn't sleep, couldn't think. I lay next to him, listening to his steady breathing, wondering how many versions of himself he had hidden beneath that calm surface, and how many of them were lies. The next morning, I followed routine, made coffee, packed his lunch, kissed his cheek like always. But behind every movement, there was a question screaming in my mind. Who are you, Adrian? The first place I started was the drawer, the one he kept locked. I waited until he was gone, found the spare key hidden beneath the bathroom sink. My heart was pounding, like I was the one doing something wrong. But I opened it, and what I found shook me. 2 passports, one with his name, Adrian Hayes, and another, Nathan Cole. Same photo, and now, different name. My stomach dropped. A different identity? Why? For what? What had he done that required more than one life? I kept digging. Letters addressed to Nathan, bank documents from accounts I had never seen, photos of him with another woman, smiling, holding her like he held me. But the timestamps, they weren't old. They were recent, too recent. There was a letter, folded carefully, tucked inside a brown envelope. I opened it, hands trembling. If you're reading this, it means you found what I never meant to hide from you. Or maybe I always knew you would. Either way, I'm sorry. I never meant to love you, but I did. I dropped the letter. He never meant to love me, so I was just collateral damage? I called the number labeled M. A woman answered, cautious, cold. Hello, who is this? I asked. Silence. Then, you must be the wife. My heart clenched. Who are you? She laughed, bitter, tired. I'm the woman he left behind, or rather, the woman he never truly left. I couldn't breathe. You were with him? I am with him, she said. At least I thought I was until I found out about you. My knees buckled. He said you were gone, she continued, that you didn't matter, that you were just a phase. The words stabbed deeper than any betrayal. I warned him, she added, that if he didn't come clean, I would. because no one deserves to be lied to like this. I wanted to scream, to break something, to crawl out of my own skin. But instead, I whispered, "Thank you for telling me," and I hung up. The world was spinning. My marriage wasn't a lie, it was a performance. And I had been the audience, clapping for a show that was never meant for me. He came home that evening, same smile, same eyes. "Hey, love, how was your day?" I stared at him, holding everything I knew behind a calm face. And I answered just like I always had, "Fine," because the confrontation wasn't for today. It needed timing. It needed proof. It needed me to be ready to destroy a man who had destroyed me with kindness. The life he hid behind mine. They say silence is a woman's loudest scream, and mine was deafening. After that phone call, after the letter, after the photos, something in me snapped. But I didn't throw things, didn't cry in front of him, didn't beg for an explanation. Instead, I made dinner. I smiled, I kissed his cheek like always. Because now, I wasn't just a wife, I was a woman on a mission. Every move he made, I observed. Every word he said, I noted. Every inconsistency, I stored in the quiet fire building inside me. He didn't suspect a thing. "You're glowing lately," he said one morning. "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." I smiled. Maybe I'm just learning to see things clearly. I started gathering everything: emails, phone records, bank transfers, addresses I'd never seen on statements with my name on them. There was one that stood out, a condo in another part of the city, registered under the name Nathan Cole. I went there, in secret, with shaking hands and a pounding heart, and I saw her, the woman on the photos, beautiful, soft-eyed, carrying groceries up the steps like this was her home, because it was. I didn't speak to her. Not yet. I needed to understand what kind of web Adrian had spun. When I got home, he was waiting with takeout. A movie already queued up, blankets folded on the couch. "I missed you today," he said. "Work was a mess. You're my calm." I stared at him, and all I could think was, how do you look at me like that when you spent the morning with someone else? That night, I dreamed of drowning, of him smiling while I sank, of his hand reaching out, not to save me, but to push me deeper. The next day, I returned to the condo. This time, I waited, watched, took photos. Him with her, laughing, holding her waist. He wasn't just lying to me. He was living a second life with the ease of someone who had been doing it for years. When I finally confronted her, she didn't react with shock. She reacted with pain. "You're the wife, aren't you?" she asked. I nodded. "And you're the girlfriend." She scoffed. "More like the other wife. He proposed to me last month." I froze. "What?" "He told me he was getting divorced, that you were bitter, controlling, that you cheated first." My knees nearly gave out. "I loved him," I said. "I never cheated. I never lied." Her voice broke. "Neither did I." We stood there, 2 women, 2 lives, 1 man. And in that moment, we weren't enemies. We were co-victims of the same lie. We exchanged numbers, shared timelines, cross-checked everything. It was worse than I thought. He had been seeing her for 3 years, before we got married, before he proposed, before he ever whispered forever to me. I didn't cry, not then. I felt something colder, stronger, something like clarity. He wasn't just unfaithful. He was calculated, strategic, possibly dangerous. Because to lie like this, so seamlessly, so cruelly, took more than selfishness. It took skill. That night I came home, dinner on the stove, candles lit, like we were normal, like we were whole. "I was thinking we should go away next weekend," he said. "Just you and me, reconnect." I looked at him, and I knew. It was time to end the game. I let him believe I still loved him, so he'd never see it coming. Adrian thought he had everything under control. 2 homes, 2 lives, 2 women, neither of whom he believed would ever dare confront him. He was wrong. I woke up the next day and wore his favorite dress, cooked his favorite breakfast, kissed his cheek with the same softness as always. "You're amazing," he said. "I don't know what I did to deserve you." I smiled. "Maybe in your past life you were honest." He laughed. I didn't. I had one goal, let him believe I still loved him, because only then would he stay predictable. Only then could I trap him in his own story. Behind his back, I worked with the other woman, Maya. We met in secret, traded receipts, text logs, travel history, credit card charges. She was furious. I was focused. "We deserve justice," she said. I shook my head. "No, we deserve power, and I'm going to take it back, all of it." Adrian kept acting like nothing was wrong, still called me love, still asked me about my day, still made love to me at night, as if the lie hadn't already burned a hole through our entire bed. But I didn't flinch, because I had a plan. I met with her, the lawyer, told her everything. She raised an eyebrow at the double identities, the fake names, the second engagement. "You want a divorce?" And she asked. "No," I replied. "Not yet. I want protection. I want to lock every asset down, and when I leave, I want him to feel it." She helped me draw up a silent separation plan, one he wouldn't see coming until it was too late. We froze accounts, removed his name from joint investments, transferred titles quietly. Every step I took, I smiled wider. Meanwhile, Maya did her part. She played the confused lover, the woman still believing his promises. "He told me we'd be moving in together soon," she said. "He's planning to get rid of you." I laughed bitterly. He has no idea. He's already gone. Then one night, Adrian asked if I wanted to renew our vows. "I feel like we've come so far," he said, "and I want to show you I'm still all in." I nodded, smiled, played along. "Let's make it a weekend getaway. Just us." And just like that, he walked into my trap. We rented a cabin in the woods, quiet, private, no distractions. He brought champagne. I brought the truth. At dinner, he toasted. "To new beginnings," he said. I clinked glasses. "To endings beautifully disguised as beginnings." He frowned. "What?" I stood, pulled out my phone, hit play. The recording of his phone call with Maya echoed through the room. "Claire doesn't suspect anything. She's so easy to control." He froze, face and pale, champagne glass shaken. "What is this?" he whispered. I walked toward him, calm, cold, controlled. "This is your finale, Adrian, the end of the little show you've been directing. A curtain call." He tried to stand. I pushed him back down. "Sit, you're going to want to hear this." I listed everything: the fake name, the bank accounts, the engagement to Maya, the hidden condo. His mouth opened, then closed, like a fish out of water. "How?" I smiled. "You underestimated the one thing you should have feared, a woman betrayed, and still calm." He tried to flip the script, tried to gaslight me, to say I was paranoid, that this wasn't what it looked like. But I handed him the divorce papers I had drafted that very week. "By the way, your accounts are frozen. The condo, Maya's name is on the lease now. Your company, you'll be explaining the identity fraud soon." He stood up. "You don't get to ruin me." I looked him dead in the eye. "I didn't ruin you, Adrian. You did that all on your own. I just gave you a mirror." He left the next morning. No goodbye, no apology, just silence. But in that silence, I found peace. I wasn't his victim. I was his reckoning. The silence after he left was the loudest sound I had ever heard. And for the first time, it didn't scare me. It freed me. Adrian didn't call, didn't text, didn't try to fix anything. Because he couldn't. He finally saw that I wasn't the woman he thought I was. Not fragile, not forgiven, not afraid. I spent the next few days reclaiming everything. I unfollowed, unlinked, unloved. I changed the locks, changed my name back, changed the way I looked in the mirror. No longer searching for what was broken, but for the strength I always had beneath the pain. I didn't cry, not because it didn't hurt, but because crying for him felt like watering a dead plant. I was done grieving someone who had only ever shown me the version of himself he knew I could fall for, not the one he truly was. Maya and I stayed in touch, unlikely allies, bound by betrayal. She was healing too, quicker than me maybe, or maybe she was just better at hiding the scars. One afternoon, we met for coffee. "How are you really?" she asked. "Not good, not bad, just done." She nodded. That's a powerful place to be. Later that week, I received a letter, handwritten, no return address. I didn't need to open it to know it was from him, but I did. "Claire, I never meant for it to go this far. I didn't plan to hurt you, but I was weak and you were too good, too kind, too much of everything I didn't deserve. I hope one day you can remember me as the man who tried, even if I failed." I folded the letter, put it in a drawer, didn't burn it, didn't reread it, just closed the drawer and moved on. Because his words didn't matter anymore, my peace did. I took a trip, somewhere quiet, no reception, no reminders. Just me, a journal, and silence I chose. On the third night, I sat by a lake, watched the moonlight dance on the water, and whispered, "Thank you for breaking me," because in the ruins he left, I built something stronger. Myself. I started writing again, something I hadn't done in years. I wrote about betrayal, about women who burn quietly until they decide to light the whole damn world on fire, about how surviving it isn't enough. We rise, we rebuild, we remember, and we never beg again. I wasn't interested in revenge anymore, not because he didn't deserve it, but because I deserve more than wasting my life trying to make him feel what I felt. Months passed, the divorce finalized, he lost his job. His name appeared in a small headline, "Local entrepreneur accused of identity fraud." I didn't smile, I didn't cheer, I just closed the page, because karma doesn't need an audience, it just needs time. One day, someone asked me, if you could go back, would you still marry him? I thought about it. Yes, I said, because loving him showed me how much I needed to love myself more, the woman he never saw coming. 6 months after Adrian vanished from my life, I stood in front of a mirror wearing the same necklace he once gave me. But this time, I wasn't wearing it as a memory. I was wearing it as a reminder that I survived him. That day, I was preparing for my first public talk. Topic: When Love Lies, Rebuilding After Betrayal. Who would have thought I'd become a speaker, a writer, a woman who could sit in front of hundreds and talk about the thing that nearly destroyed her? But that's the irony, isn't it? Sometimes the fire that burns you down is the same one that lights your purpose. I stepped onto that stage, nervous but firm, and I spoke. I thought I found safety in someone else's arms, but real safety was never about someone holding me. It was about me standing up after I was dropped. The applause was soft but genuine. The tears in the room weren't all mine. And somewhere in the crowd, I saw Maya, smiling, whole. She had started her own nonprofit, helping women spot manipulation and emotional abuse early. We still talked, not every day, but enough to know that we both made it out, alive, stronger, wiser. 2 weeks later, I received an email from a name I hadn't seen in months, Adrian. I stared at it for a full 10 minutes, then I opened it. Claire, I saw the video of your talk. I almost didn't recognize you. You've changed. You're powerful now. And I hate how much I admired it, even though I was the reason behind your story. I just wanted to say you didn't deserve any of it, and I hope you never stop becoming her. I didn't reply because he wasn't wrong. I had changed, but not for him, for me. The past would always be a part of me, but it wouldn't define me. I dated again, slowly, cautiously, not looking for someone to save me, just someone to walk beside me. And one day maybe I will love again, but this time with eyes open, with my heart locked to only those who earn the key. I turned that speech into a book. It became a bestseller, titled The Woman He Never Saw Coming. Because he didn't. He never thought I'd rise from his lies, never thought the woman who once clung to him would one day stand taller without him. But here I was, not broken, not bitter, just me. One day I passed him. On the street, he looked older, more hollow. He saw me, froze, didn't say a word. But I smiled, softly, kindly, then walked right past. And in that moment, I knew he no longer had power, not over me, not over anything, because I wasn't the girl he lied to anymore. I was the woman who faced the truth, burned it to ash, and walked through the fire in heels he'd never be able to afford me again. The end.